All right. Hello, 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 hello. I had to do some troubleshooting, but we're here now. Okay. All right. So, welcome to day 4 of the private practice playbook tour. So, we have a brand new book called The Profitable Private Practice Playbook. This is about 7 ways private practice owners leave money on the table and how to fix it. This book is going to be released on August the 13th. So that is next Tuesday. And it's going to be so wild because this book right here is going to create a revolution in the private practice world. Okay. So if you are with me live, just say hi in the chat. Say live. If you're watching the replay, type hashtag replay. If we haven't met before, hi Jessica. If we haven't met before, my name is Dr. Una. I am a hello, EJ. Nice to see you. I'm a pediatrician by training. I have had my private practice for the last 14 years, so almost a decade and a half. And this stage of my career is really dedicated to helping physicians build profitable businesses so they have the freedom to live life and practice medicine on their terms. So we do this through the EntreMD podcast. We do that through, numerous books we've written. This is the fourth in the series that's going to be released. And we do this through the EntreMD Business School, which is our year-long program, and live events like this. Okay, so we've been going live every day. We are committed to showing up live every day, every weekday throughout the month of August, just to give you practical tips that will turn your private practice around. Okay. So if this has been a gift to you so far, I want you to type, it's been amazing in the chat if you joined us right from day one. And today I want us to look at something that is so simple and yet it is so profound. Like looking at this will lead to literal dollars in your bank accounts, right? Things are going to be better for just doing this. Okay. So we're going to look at three scheduling reports. Three scheduling reports you should be looking at in your practice every single week. So I meet with my practice administrator every week, every Monday at 11 a.m. And we go over a series of numbers. And these are some of the numbers we go over. The reason why this is so critical, it is so critical because it puts you in a position where you can make data driven decisions. You can make decisions like a savvy entrepreneur. Okay. And you don't need a lot of graphs. You don't need whole spreadsheets and all of this. This is very simple, but it will change everything for you. So don't be confused by how simple it is. I read a lot of books. I do a lot of study. I have a lot of interviews. I do a lot of experiments in my practice. I do all of that so I can take these complex things and make them super simple so you can start applying them in your business and you start turning everything around. Okay. All right. So 3 scheduling reports. I warned you, it's going to be simple. Okay. Now, the first report you want to look at is how many patients did we see last week? Okay, we can extrapolate this to say last month and all this, but just roll with me. How many patients did we see last week? And you're looking at the total number for the practice. If it's more than one clinician, so you have 2 doctors in the office, you're looking at per physician, okay, or per physician, per MP, per PA, whatever it is you have. You might say, Dr. Una, I was expecting something more profound. This is profound. It's simple, but it's profound. So work with me here, okay? It is so critical to know this number. And I have talked to hundreds and hundreds of private practice owners, and I will tell you, many people have no idea what this number is because a lot of times we want to provide great care, put out the fires in real time, and make sure there's money in the bank account. And if we have those 3 things, we're good, right? But a sustainable, profitable practice does not work that way. It does not work that way. We have to understand what is happening and we have to understand the story it is telling. Okay. So the first number is how many patients did we see last week? Now, that number will tell you a story that will now determine what you get to do the following week, what you get to do the week of, the adjustments you need to make. So let's say, for easy math, let's say your goal is you want to see 20 patients a day. So 20 patients per doctor per day. Okay. And you look at the number for last week, and it's you and another doc. So you're expecting 40 patients. And you find out that you guys saw 60 patients. Okay. So this is 20 patients more, right? So if both of you saw 20 each, that would be 40, but you saw 60. If you saw 20 patients more, that number, you want to interpret the number. What is the story this is telling me? Okay, so this is telling me, wait, if we continue doing this, we're going to be burned out. This may then say, okay, was this an anomaly, or is this what has been happening? So maybe you look back a few more weeks and you find that you've been running between 58 and 73. And you're like, okay, so it's looking like we may need additional help. Maybe we need a part-time doc to come join us so we can take this burden off, right? Or maybe, you're a pediatrician and you're noticing those numbers happened the end of July. You're a pediatrician in Georgia. It happened the end of July to the beginning of August. The story is telling you is back to school and everybody's trying to get in. So you may not want to go hire extra help, knowing that this is a blip. This is going to last 4 or 5 weeks, and then everything will go back to more of a baseline. So, do we need to stagger? Or do we need to say, okay, we're not scheduling the 2-month-olds here, we'll schedule them a little further out, because let's just bring in all these people we need to get them back to school and we'll be good. It tells a story. Well, maybe instead of 60, maybe between both of you, you saw 20. Now, if between both of you, you saw 20, it's like, hang on, hang on. We are about to have a cash flow problem in 2 to 6 weeks. Okay. Because if we're seeing 20, we're seeing half of the number we're supposed to see. Did we even break even? Did we make overhead? What is the issue here? Right. And then you can look and you can troubleshoot. Now, we have a survey for private practice owners that we do, and it's called the Private Practice Profitability Assessment. It is so amazing because it shows you exactly where you are leaving money on the table in your private practice. Okay, it is amazing. And in that survey, the data that we've collected so far shows that 42% of private practice owners do not have their schedule up to 80% full most of the time, right? Which means that there's a huge opportunity, right? But at the same time, most of them have no system for calling people to say you're overdue for an appointment. So in your very practice, you may have all the appointments you would need all year long, but they're just not being called. So if you find out that, oh my goodness, we saw 20 people between both of us, that's 10 patients each, this is not sustainable. Like, we are about to go out of business. Like, red flags start going out. And you're like, okay, let's hit the phones. Let's call these people who are overdue for appointments. Let's get them in and all of that. You made a data-driven decision because you looked at the report. Okay, so is that number overflowing? Do we need to start thinking about extra help? Is it overflowing because of something that is, or is time bound that happened and is going to go away? Is the schedule empty? And we're going to have cash flow problems down the line. What do we do to fix it? Do you see how there are all these decisions that could be made, but we will be oblivious. We won't even know we need to make those decisions if we don't actually take the time to look at the report. Okay, so this is a report we must look at every week. And it is a report that tells a story, and it tells a story that helps us make savvy decisions. Okay, savvy decisions. We can predict what our numbers, our revenue would look like based on what we've been doing. So that's number one. Okay, so that's the first report. The second report, now even though I meet with my practice administrator on Mondays, right? The second report we look at is how many patients, like, what does our schedule look like right now? What does the schedule for this week look like right now, right? Now, the beautiful thing about that is we still have time to respond to it. We don't have to say, oh, this is just the way the week went. No, we have time to respond to it. We have time to say, okay, so let's say there are a ton of people on the schedule. And then we're like, okay, we want to talk to the schedulers because we don't want our physicians to be burned out. So, like, if people call for checkups, even though we like to get them within 48 to 72 hours for well checks, we're going to kick that further down the line so it can leave spaces open for same day visits and all of that, right? It's a data-driven decision. If we look at the schedule and we're like, hold on, everything looks good, but we have 3 doctors on Thursday. And we want them to see 20, let's say we want to see them to see 25 patients per day, and they're at 50. And we're like 50 versus 75. Like, historically, we don't get 25 same day appointments. So that means that we're not going to hit what we want there. So what do we do? So we can have some of our virtual assistants hit the recall or call people who are overdue for appointments and preferentially schedule them for Thursday. Get the kicker. When people call your office same day, you've already told your front desk staff, we have gaps on Thursday. So when they call, preferentially offer them Thursday, right? And what would happen? By the end of Monday, Thursday will be full. But how were we able to do that such that we had a week that was the way we wanted the week to be? We took that report. We took the report, we looked at it so we could respond in real time. Many times it's like nothing to do, but you will know there's nothing to do except you look. You will know. Okay. So you got to look at the report. What does the report look like for last week? What does it look like for this week? And that is critical because it gives you time to respond in real time so that you don't have to tell stories at the end of the week. At the end of the week, you hang up your coat and you're like, this was an amazing week. We did what we wanted to do. Boom, we're gone. Okay. Okay. So that's number two. Number three, the next report we look at is we look at the report of the way the schedule looks for the next 30 days. Okay. How does it look for the next 30 days? Because for us, we've come to a point where we can say at the beginning of the month, if we hit our target, these are the number of people who would already be scheduled anyway, right? So let's make up numbers here. Let's say, you typically would see 1,000 patients a month, you and how many of doctors you're working with. So let's say you have 1,000 patients per month. And going into the month, we are typically going to be at about 600, right? And the remaining 400 that they come on during the month. Okay. So if you see that and you say, well, we're about to, over the next 30 days, we have 300 patients scheduled. That immediately makes you go like, wait a minute, that is half of what we usually have at this time of the month. So that means we need to get to scheduling, right? Otherwise, we're going to get to the month and maybe not be able to catch up and all of that. On the other hand, you may look and you're like, wait a minute, we have 1,000 already scheduled. That tells you, where am I going to put the people? What am I going to do with them, right? Because typically, you're 400 over. These are not exact numbers, okay? But the point is, it gives you the ability to respond, right? Because if you have gaps in your schedule, okay, so I'll give you an example. During the pandemic was so fascinating. It was like a personal development program on steroids, okay? So when the pandemic happened, everybody's like, oh my goodness, what is this? It's a virus. We don't know what it's called. It's a something 19, all of that stuff. And so everybody disappeared. People stopped coming into office and all of those things. Private practices were dropping like flies. And, I remember going like, and so then my team will tell me the phone is not ringing. The phone is not ringing. And I'm like, okay, guys, there's a misunderstanding here. It's not about the phone ringing. It's about you being on the phone. Right? And so if the phone is not ringing, go call. You can respond. Like if your schedule doesn't look the way you want it to look, it's not this is what happened. This is a static thing. This is something I can do nothing about. No, you can respond to it. You can fix it. There are strategies you can pull out. You can reach out to referral sources. You can call people who are overdue for appointments. You can guide your front desk team. I cannot tell you how many people have told me, well, I overheard my staff telling somebody, oh, our next available is on Tuesday, 2 weeks down the line. And this person is going like, hold up. We have gaps in our schedule today. We have gaps in our schedule tomorrow. What do you mean by 2 weeks? So your team is just like, we schedule them wherever. This is healthcare. That's what we do. But if you take note of this reports and you show it to you're like, okay, guys, okay, we got holes here and here and here. I need you to go call them and do whatever and fill up these spots. You gotta have the reports. Okay. So this may seem simple, but the truth of the matter is that this just this habit can put you in a position where you are adding hundreds of thousands of dollars to your bottom line just by following this, because you're setting yourself up to not have surprises. You're setting yourself up, putting yourself in a position where you know what is going on. You know how to respond to what is going on. When you think about it, how long will it really take you to look at these reports? Like if you're looking at only these 3 reports, 5 minutes. Like you tell your team to pull up the report, give it to you, you look at it, you interpret it, you understand the story that it's telling you, and then you make decisions based on it. It will take you 5 minutes, 10 minutes. And the question is, and you let me know in the chat, is it worth it for 10 minutes a day to build this habit, to 10 minutes a week? It's not even a day, 10 minutes a week to look at these 3 reports, understand the story is telling you, and make decisions that will make you have a full schedule and consequently the revenue that you want to generate in your business? Let me know. Okay. Let me know. Okay. So a few things I want you to do. Number one, I want you to schedule some time in your calendar, and you can post in the chat. We'll happily hold you accountable. Like, when is this going to be? When are you going to once a week just stop and look at these 3 scheduling reports? It will change your practice forever. It will change your practice forever. Okay. So I want you to schedule that. And the other thing I want you to do, you see this playbook right here? This playbook right here, the Profitable Private Practice Playbook, I don't write books that have fluff in them. I write books that, people have read my books and said, then I got the courage, then I started my own private practice, and I took it to multiple 6 figures, and now I want to come work with you because I've taken it as far as I can take it from a book. Okay. This I think up till now is the most impactful, most transformational book that I've written. Okay. And the reason for that is I have studied private practices for a really long time at this point. We're talking a decade and a half almost, right? And I've identified the top 7 ways people leave money on the table. I've identified the top 7 mindsets that stop private practice owners from showing up as savvy entrepreneurs who can build these practices that help a lot of people, create financial freedom for them, and create time freedom for them. And it's all in here. It's legit all in here. Okay. So you can get the book today. If you're watching, if you're joining me live, if this is after the 13th, you can. Okay. But you can get the first chapter. Okay. So entremd.com/private practice book. You can get the chapter and you get access to our assessment. It's called the Private Practice Profitability Assessment. And this assessment is going to walk through the different aspects of your practice and show you where you have gaps and show you the biggest opportunity you have to turn your revenue around in your private practice. Okay. So the first chapter, you can go get it on entremd.com/private practice book. And the same link, you will find the assessment, take the assessment, follow the directions, and get ready to build a practice that is going to thrive. Now, listen, I know there's a lot of narrative about, private practice is dead. Private practice doesn't work anymore. It only works with a certain model or only works with a certain size. But I want you to hear me. Unsubscribe from the lie. Okay. I've had my private practice for the last 14 years. I have helped so many people start private practice. We have so many students in the EntreMD Business School who are crushing it in private practice. Unsubscribe from the lie. However, also be aware that, yes, there are challenges. And there are ways to get over the challenges and decide, I'm going to learn to overcome the challenges. I'm going to learn how to run a private practice that thrives in 2024, that thrives and thrives and thrives throughout this time. Okay. So you can do that. So maybe you used to be the person who was afraid of looking at reports, because that was me. Okay. I'll break out in hives if you talked about AR reports, scheduling reports, profit and loss statement. Don't want to look at any of that, because it showed me how much I didn't know, because it exposed what I was not good at. But this is the deal. You memorize the Krebs cycle. Okay. You can run a whole code and literally bring somebody back from the dead. If you can figure that out, you can figure out any report. Okay. You can figure out any report. So I want you to kind of look at yourself like, I'm in a new season. I'm in this season where I'm becoming the kind of private practice owner that runs a thriving practice, a practice that serves a lot of people, has a great team, that I get to collaborate with, creates financial freedom for me, creates time freedom for me. I want you to embody that. Like, this is who I now am, and I'm going to learn what I need to learn to walk it out, because this is my new reality. Okay. So many people are having this experience. we can have this experience as well. I am rooting for you. In EntreMD, we are all rooting for you. EntreMD this month, August, is literally Private Practice Physicians Month. We're all out. I've been showing up live every day. I'm going to show up live till the end of August, coming to give you simple nuggets you can apply to turn your private practice around every single day. Okay, so you have a whole company rooting for you. You have a whole company. This book, I didn't write it for myself. I wrote it for you. The report, my team and we hours and hours and hours trying to come up with this assessment, an easy way for private practices to figure out how can I do this even better. It is all for you. It is all for you. So all we need from you is your commitment and unsubscribing from the lie and just deciding, you know what, I'm going to thrive. I'm going to thrive. I'm going to build a practice. It's going to be great. I'm going to learn some new things because clearly the old way doesn't work anymore. I'm going to learn some new things, but I am going to thrive. So I'm absolutely rooting for you. If you missed any of the earlier trainings, you can catch them. They're right here on the YouTube channel. Catch them, watch them, and most importantly, apply them. Okay, so go get your free chapter of the book on EntreMD.com/private practice, and I will see you on the next training.